a show by the Dominator. 55 saves in a 3-3 tie against the Rangers. As a result, the Sabres are unbeaten in 5. This team is smoking. He's back. Alexander Mogilny, 51 goals in 61 games, back at the odd. His team, the Vancouver Canucks, will be looking to shatter Buffalo's unbeaten streak. Cold at home, cold on the range. Where's a shaggy old fella to go on a Sunday afternoon? Where else other than the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium to enjoy the Sabres hosting the Vancouver Canucks? Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and a special welcome to all the viewers on Fox 29 today. I'm Rick Jeanneret with Jim Lorenz, and Barry Butel will be joining us shortly. The first time in this building that Al Mogilny will not be wearing a Buffalo Sabres uniform.
And he may not admit it, but I'll bet his heart is beating very fast down in that Vancouver dressing room. But he starred for so many seasons here with the Buffalo Sabres. Of course, he began his career as an 18-year-old and turned in some just brilliant performances. And he continues those brilliant performances with the Vancouver Canucks.
And the three keys to today's game are brought to you by KeyBank, America's first choice.
Well, we're talking about Alexander Mogilny. The Sabres must contain him. Buffalo must also continue to play a physical game and finish their checks. And for Vancouver, they need to forecheck Buffalo.
And, of course, we're making this a very simple thing when we say contain Mogilny, because that's something that 25 or 24 other teams in the NHL really has failed to do this year.
It's very difficult. Not only does Alex possess great offensive skills, he's very strong. But I think what Buffalo must do is play physical against him, try to bump him at every opportunity, take Alex off his game.
Through this long period of time now where the Sabres have only lost 1 out of their last 11, they have been finishing their checks.
I think that's been one of their keys. They play a tough physical game night after night. And even against bigger teams, and Vancouver is a bigger team, Buffalo have been able to wear down the opposition with their physical play.
The Canucks won in Detroit yesterday, but they weren't too happy with the way they were doing their forechecking.
Rick Lee told me today, he said, we have to forecheck better than we did against Detroit. One of the reasons that they didn't was because of the Detroit defense. But here against Buffalo, they must get the puck in deep and try to cause those turnovers.
And let's slide downstairs now to Barry Butel.
Pat LaFontaine told me that Alexander Mogilny is the fastest skater he has seen move from blue line to blue line. The way to contain the Russian Rocket is to get on him before he hits the neutral zone. Now back upstairs to Rick Jeanneret.
Vancouver Canucks and Buffalo Sabres play only twice during the regular season. As odd as it is, today here at the auditorium on Wednesday, they'll be right back at GM Place in Vancouver. And number 89 is looking for number 52. Midland Bank, banking for the real world. By the new Dodge, come see your team Dodge dealers. By Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. And by the Discover Car, it pays to discover. Today's starting goaltenders brought to you by Continental Airlines. More airline for your money. Kirk McLean had the day off yesterday in Detroit as the Canucks beat the Red Wings. Corey Hirsch was in goal, but Kirk is right back into the barrel this afternoon. And Dominik Hasek, who is coming off a stupendous, and I'm groping for words to describe his performances now in New York. On Friday night, he's ready to roll again today to take on his ex-teammate Al Mogilny and the Vancouver Canucks. And of course, Mogilny is, I think, as you mentioned a moment ago, partner, I'll bet you he's doing a little toe dancing at that bench right now.
Sure he is. Alex has a calm outward demeanor, but is not that way inside. I remember his first shift as a Buffalo Sabre. He scored 8 seconds into the game, and I'm wondering if that thought is going through his mind, although he will not start here this afternoon. The line that Rick Lay has put out there, excellent skating line to begin.
And of course, Lee is going to try to combat the Sabres having the home ice advantage as far as making the changes first are concerned. And Rob Ray making a special presentation this afternoon. Round up for Roswell.
Especially all the pediatric patients. I want to thank Quality Markets for their diligence.
Now, Ted Nolan was telling me before the start of today's game, he said, one thing, we're worried about the mental attitude of our hockey club. We've been winning all these games and playing great hockey, and yet we haven't been able to gain on too many people. However, though, he did say, we are gaining on Montreal, we are gaining on the Capitals, and he said that's one of the areas that we're going to stress. We don't necessarily have to take it for granted that New Jersey is going to end up in the last playoff position.
Buffalo losing only 1 out of the last 11 games and yet not gaining any ground, and it does have to be somewhat disheartening. Dave Jackson, the referee today, Ronnie Asselstein and Leon Stickle. Boy, do we have a couple of veteran linesmen handling this game.
I mentioned the starting lineup for Rick Lee. They call this line the buzzsaw line, or at least Don Lever did. Jelinas along with Linden and Courtnall. 2 real speedsters in Jelinas and Courtnall, and then Trevor Linden, the power forward that Rick Lee has started against. Himmelev, Dave Hannon, who is back in the lineup, coming back from a hip pointer, and Mike Pekka. Now, Ted Nolan told me this would be a checking line today, but he did say that he would be juggling his lines, and we'll see if Rick Lee does the same.
It's time now to fly one lucky fan and guest down in the first row, courtesy of Continental Airlines. Tonight's winner is sitting in the oranges, section 20, row D, seat 10. Stay in your seats, the Sabres representative will fly you down shortly.
Tikkanen was a late scratch today, and Brad May with that wrist or forearm injury. Randy Burridge with a knee problem, and Jason Daw with cracked ribs.
Wilson for Shannon. Back to Wilson again. Sends it off the boards, and that one's going to go down the ice, but the middle icing. Hannon and Mercer kicking away. Hannon couldn't come up with it. Some help from Linden. Squeezes it around to Lume. He sends it away to center ice. 2 Canucks fell behind the play. Wilson takes out Jelena. Shannon, long, high pass at center. Hannon can't control it. Ends up going to Pekka. Back for Wilson. Kicks it up onto his stick and taps one in. And now the Sabres will make a change. Fired up on the wing. Canucks trying to come back. Slipped in over the Buffalo line. Huddy is there. Vancouver changing. Huddy's pass. Zhitnik has to chase after it. Zhitnik swinging it ahead, and some good-natured boos. I believe good-natured anyway. Greet Alex Mogilny in his first shift on the ice. Running it over the line. Took his shot. Went off Huddy and goes right to LaFontaine. He tried to swing it up the center. Ronning gets it back again. He leaves it there, and it's fired through the middle by Babbage. In over the Buffalo line. Knocked down by Huddy. He tips it up to LaFontaine. Couldn't get it to Hughes. Ronning sails it off the boards. Back through the middle again. Hooked in over the Vancouver line. Charging in there after it. Helican steering it into the corner. Rosick couldn't come up with the puck. Nuts will come back with Oksuta's pass that missed everybody and goes down the ice. In behind the net. And gathered there by Zhitnik, and icing now against Vancouver, approaching the 2-minute mark here in the opening period.
So Alex Mogilny's first shift on his return to the auditorium today brings a chorus of mostly boos. I was talking, as I mentioned, to Ted Nolan before today's game and asking about Alexander Mogilny and was he going to counter Mogilny with any line or any particular strategy, and he said no. He said, you know me by now. He said, I'm not that concerned about playing man against man. He said, all I want my team to be aware is when Mogilny's on the ice, and they key on him, obviously.
Chara getting it to center. It'll be tapped in by Walker around on the board. Barnaby couldn't catch up with it. Taken away by Platt. He swung it, but not out. Rolls back across the ice again. Tipped in just wide of the net. Held in by Walker. Around to Ojik. Ojik hustling it around now to Walker. Back to Ojik again. Bothered by Galley. Platt gets in there. Shoving with Walker. Ojik squeezed off the play by Galley. They jam in along the wall. Everybody kicking at it. The referee checks and lets them go. Idly tipped ahead, and Pearson got it to center ice. And back in the other direction. Knocked right down at the blue line. Brought in now by Dowd. Dowd got swung around. The Sabres with Bugner. Beating it ahead. Barnaby's pass goes to Platt. Platt coming away with Pearson. Platt in over the line. Tried to drop it off and went to center ice. Shannon is there to slap it right back in, but he hit Barnaby, and that inadvertent hit will create an offside call.
Dominic Hasek, a brilliant performance, and all he said at the end of the game was, when he got on the airplane, boy, am I ever hungry. He couldn't wait to eat, he said. But his save percentage, how about that? That is an incredible statistic, .954. And I guess your save percentage does go up when you're facing 50 to 55 shots, as he did against the New York Rangers.
Lume. Holzinger keeps an eye on him. Fed across ice now. Work to center ice and tipped down. Ray hustling after it. Ray. Hunter tried to catch up with him. Hunter got squeezed off the puck. Ray to Kahn. Kahn doesn't get it out, and it squirts right over the glass and goes out of play.
Now Tim Hunter still patrolling the wing in the National Hockey League. 6'2", 202-pounder, 15th season, 4th on the NHL's all-time career penalty list. And this past summer, he was a guest conductor of the Vancouver's Symphony Orchestra. And the rumor is that he beat up the horn section in the middle as they were playing off key.
Ray and Hunter take a hack at each other before the puck is dropped, and they're still going at it. That's in behind the net now. Squeezed into the corner to Wilson. Wilson sending it back for Shannon. Shannon waits there. Now through the middle to Holzinger. On the wing it comes. On will tap one in. Off the glass in the corner. Ray goes charging in there. Holzinger trying to pick up the puck. Squeezed out by Hunter. Hunter and Ray are nose to nose in the corner, but Holzinger keeps it in for the shot. Just goes wide. Here's Ray. Whack at it. Ray trying to get into the rebound. And it's covered up and held, and Ray and Hunter are going to be separated now. And then Stoyanov comes over to get involved. But they settle things down. Still looking for our first goal here this afternoon.
Pickups are designed to be loaded with stuff. So if you buy or lease any Dodge Ram pickup before March 31st, we'll load it with a Mopar bed liner at no extra charge. Buy or lease any Dakota pickup by March 31st, and we'll load it with a Mopar bed liner at no extra charge. Because loading up a new Dodge truck with a Mopar bed liner is a very smart thing to do before you load it up with anything more. 125 extra truckloads of Ram pickups mean a huge selection. Hurry to your Dodge dealer.
You never really know when you'll need cash. That's why you need a Discover card. Use your card.
In deli, breakfast, lunch, or anytime, Bagel Brothers is the place. Who is the gentleman who holds the Canucks' all-time scoring record by a left wing? Ahead again, slips around to the boards now to the blue line. Hannon trying to hold it in. Tucker kicked at it, but it's set up the middle to Linden. Linden for Corknell, taking off the puck. And flipped right back into Vancouver territory. Dave Babbage circles the net. He slides it off the glass. This one rolls down the ice, and Wilson back. That's another racing call.
And with all the hype today about the return of Alexander Mogilny, I asked Mike Pekka before tonight's game. I said, how do you feel about all this? I said, you were one of the guys that was traded over for Mogilny. And he said, well, he said, I've given it a lot of thought, but he says, my heart is not in Vancouver. It's here in Buffalo. He said there was no added incentive of playing against the Canucks. And then I said, well, what happens if you're on the ice with Mogilny? And he says, I definitely will be up for that. So he's certainly aware of all the hype and everything else. But I thought he handled the question quite well.
Etikin swings it to Corknell. Corknell's pass. Aarons to center ice, and is recovered there by Jelinov. He drops it off. Linden. Going to find an open man. Now steps to the red line. Tips it over on the wing. Babbage lets it slide, and it's broken up. And then fed the other direction by Zhitnik. Linden gets it right back again. Linden Buffalo line to Courtnall. Courtnall sliding it across to the other side. The shot, that's kicked away. His head can let it go. Put back into the corner. Hannon kicked it free, but didn't get it out. Linden, now it comes to Pekka, and Pekka slides it out to center ice. Hedican back after it, guiding it over to Babbage. Sabres trying to make some changes. Red Hedican again. Beating it up on the wing, Jelena. He'll slip one in and head to the bench. Shipnick charging back after, approaching the 5-minute point of the opening period. Left for Huddy, swinging it up now to Pekka. Pekka taps one in, and he heads off for a rest. Goaltender playing, getting it around the board. Broken up, kept in there now to Grosek. Here's Grosek working to the corner with no stick. Kicks at it again, trying to knock it to left Fontaine. But it's sent around to the board. Not out. Bugner keeps it in. Bugner behind the net. Grosek picks up a stick. Got it out in front. Into the blue line. Bugner swinging it over to Galley. Galley tapping it down low to left Fontaine. Bend on the pass in front of the net. Hughes helps out. Hughes back to Grosek. Knocked away from him. Swung around to the boards. Galley keeping it in. To Grosek again. Who's playing without a glove. Mogilny picked it up and dumped it in front of his own net. Back comes Kuchera. The pass to center. Up to Mogilny. In over the line. Watch by Galley. Crowded in front. Oh! Hasek is there to handle that one as Otsuda deflected it right on.
No one is better in the league than Alex Mogilny on the rush. And he breaks through the neutral zone, takes the pass from running, puts some razzle-dazzle on the defenseman. Here's the play. Here comes the razzle-dazzle. And watch this marvelous save by Hasek. Nobody better in the game at Hasek as Roman Otsuda failed to deflect it by Dominik Hasek. But a brilliant play and an equally brilliant stop. And Ted Nolan has been playing the LaFontaine line early against Mogilny, and now he has switched to the flat line.
Kicked out to center ice, went behind Pearson, tapped back in the other direction. Mogilny brings it in over the line, offside.
And of course, the second player involved in the Alex Mogilny deal is now on the ice, and that being big Mike Wilson, who has really developed into one of the top defensemen on Buffalo, one of the top 4 guys. And of course, with Craig Muni moving over, and that expanded even more ice time for Wilson. And the other player in that deal, Jay McKee, is having an outstanding year with the Niagara Falls Thunder.
Long pass down, 2-5 from Pearson. McLean lets it slide wide of the net. There'll be no icing. Recovered by Otsuda. He sends it out to center. Running long shot in off the corner boards, and another offside. And holy mackerel, this game is being played in cement at the moment.
And it would be perfectly agreeable to Vancouver to play this type of game. Kirk McLean getting the start today, the franchise leader with 181 wins, and also leads with 16 assists from Willowdale, Ontario. And his boyhood idol was the great Bernard Parent.
You can call him Bernie, it's okay.
Bernard sounds better, particularly when he's an elder statesman now. No, not that elder.
Lume cranking one in off the glass. Barnaby squeezes into the corner. Bugner gave it away behind the net. Kept in there by Ojicki at the side of the net. Galley hacks at it. Now cleared it up on the wing, but not out. Lume keeping it in. Lume turning again. Stuffs it back along the boards to Ojek. Ojek turning around. He drops it off to Walker. Walker being bothered. Tipped it back into the corner. Charging behind the net. Down. Down tied up by Bugner. Down trying to knock it free. Down slings it into the corner. Lume, who's moved up on the fly, is in there. He's knocked off stride. There's going to be a penalty here to Pearson as Barnaby locates the puck and gains control of it, and the first power play of the game goes to the Vancouver Canucks.
Now the line of Vancouver just putting the pressure on Buffalo, and the Sabres not able to handle them in the zone, and Pearson ends up going to the penalty box. Some great forechecking by the Canucks. Here's a penalty as Pearson pulls down Lume. Now the faceoff will be at the top of the circle to the right of Hasek. Very little offense in this game up to this point. We played 6 minutes 39 seconds and only 2 shots on goal, one by each team. Vancouver on the power play, 15th overall in the league. And no, they are not led by Alex Mogilny. Pardon the R. He has 9 power play goals, and Trevor Linden with 8.
Wilson slips it out to center ice. Lume back there. Now finding Linden. Vancouver captain tried to squeeze it through center. Pekka knocks it down and chips the backhand down the ice. Hannon doing the forechecking, but lets Lume pick it up. And peels on. Worked up on the wing again. Canucks coming back. Brought away by Hedican. He'll slap one in. Drilled around on the glass. Not up. McGillney keeping it in. Took his shot. Almost put it around to the other side. Now it's fed back through the middle again and down the ice. 1:20 left in the penalty. Lume recovering. Lume drills it up for Linden. Broken up right at the blue line. Lume following up on the play. Back for Hedican. He'll have to chase after it. Fontaine tracking him. Round for Lume again. Lume swings in the corner and starts to work away by himself as he comes to center. He gains the Buffalo line and over. Trying to squeeze his way through. Backhand. And that one goes high and ends up in the crowd.
Rick Lee told me that Jyrki Lume was his best defenseman, certainly offensively, and that was a lovely rush. An end-to-end rush as Lume works his way down the ice. Now the problem, see, once the defenseman gets to this point, the forwards hold up. They know that the only thing he can do is stick handle it into the zone. He attempted to go hide in the top corner, but shot it over the glass. Or they're saying now that it hit Hasek and went over the glass. The face-off to the left of the Buffalo net.
Less than a minute remaining in the penalty. Shipnick can squeeze it around the boards, loses control. Kept in by Ronning. Ronning slipping it back to the point. Ronning keeping it in there. Here's Ronning curling around, sending it down low. It goes to the corner, hustling after Maksuda. Maksuda bothered from behind, has it stolen away, flipped but not out. Jarrett keeping it in to Ronning again. Ronning looking for the open man. Here's Ronning. Take the pass. Ronning still got it. Ronning hanging on to it. And it goes to the corner. Maksuda leaving it to Cook. No! Couldn't get his shot away. Knocked down. Another whack at it. That's fired down the ice by Hannon. 15 seconds remaining in the Pearson penalty. Sensing that, he gets ready to get back on his feet in the box. It's cleared ahead to the Buffalo line. In over the line to Courtnall again. Drops it off to Ronning. Back to the point. Shot way wide of the net. Recovered, however, by the Canucks. Courtnall. Courtnall lost control of it. Taken away. And here's Huddy to chip it down the ice. And the Sabres return to full strength. And both teams send new folks out. Ducks coming up with it. Hedican's long pass. Off Ojek. Bounces all the way back to Buchner. He'll use the boards to send it in the other direction. Hedican hustling after it. Hedican curling around behind his net. Now fires it off the glass, and it's cleared to center ice, and back comes Dowd with Walker. Dowd in over the line with the trailer down. Clears it to Walker. The shot! And Hasek held his ground and made the save. Buffalo coming right back again. Brochik away to center. Brochik faked his shot. Here's Galley. Here's it in front of the net. That hit a skate at Hedican. They jam it into the corner. Hughes keeping it into LaFontaine. LaFontaine dancing away. LaFontaine to Galley. He took a whack at it. Hughes hit the inside of the net. Brochik kicked it right through the goal crease. Ojek will now fire it to center. Galley knocks it down. Harry Galley starting back. He deals one in. Hedican comes up with it. Feeds it back through the middle. It slides down the ice. No icing. Galley back to pick it up. Around it comes for Brochik. Brochik with a dangerous pass. Got it to Shannon. Steering it up now to Galley. He poked it through center ice. Lume hustling back after it. Lume feeding it around behind the net. Taken by Mercer. Halfway through the first period. Shannon shoving it center. Hannon couldn't get anywhere. Here's a pass intercepted by Himmelab. In over the line. Took it. Shot. McLean the save. Get back behind the goal. Lume coming up with it. Lume guides it off into the corner. Canucks opportunity to get it out. High in the air. Wilson tracks it down inside his own line. Wilson feeding it to center ice, but it's tapped right back in again. It's left behind the net. Mike Wilson hanging on to it back there. Stoyanov keeps an eye on him. It's kept in by the Canucks, and a long shot is cleared back into the corner again. Kick at it in behind the goal, and it's taken away, and the Sabres will bring it out again. Pekka up to Himmelab, went off the back of his skate down the ice, and as it's recovered back there by a coin, that's an icing against Buffalo. We're still looking for our first goal.
We can be pretty rough on our cars. Least we can do is put something good in them. Kendall Motor Oil. pour in the protection.
We put a lot of strange things on our cars. The least we can do is put something good in them. Kendall Motor Oil. Pour in the protection.
Paul, there's no spare. I don't believe it.
What? Great.
Yeah, I had to make room for my guitar.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna go find a phone.
Well, I'll go with you.
On the left of the screen will be Brent Hughes as LaFontaine puts it back to the point man. And Groshek at the bottom tried to kick this puck to the front of the net and then maintain control, but was not able to do it.
Barnaby tapped it through center, too far for Plant. Covered by the Canucks O'Coy. That's knocked right back in again. 9 minutes to go here in the opening period. Send out to center ice. Plant ripping it back in. His teammates have to clear the zone and do. O'Coy circles the goal. Good out to center by Kuchera. Linden in over the line. That's another offside.
Well, Trevor Linden playing today in his 441st consecutive game. That's the NHL's current Ironman streak. And he surpassed Don Lever, the associate coach of the Sabres, who held the Canucks mark of 437 consecutive games. Don Lever had a very successful NHL career, mainly with Vancouver. And now is trying to beat them here today.
Beat some family, too. We'll get to that a little later in the game. Shipnick being chased around in his own end by Courtnall, who's still got the great wheels. Up for Groshek. Groshek's pass to Hughes. Hughes squeezes it into LaFontaine. Back for Groshek. Took his shot. And that's blocked by Kuchera. Away goes Linden to center. Linden tipping it in over the line to Gelinas. Gelinas rolling behind the net. Gelinas. Back to the point to Babbage. He fired it off into the corner. LaFontaine swings it off the glass and rolls it down the ice. No icing. Over 8 minutes to go in the opening period. Babbage picks it up now. Babbage has fired it through center ice. Covered by Galley. It's by Ronning. Galley off the glass. Out as far as center. Babbage gets it back again and dribbles one to the other side to Henneken. In over the line. Hannon tracks it down in the corner. Hannon slipping it behind the net, but it's kept in there by the Canucks. Otsuda getting turned around, still has control of the puck, leaving it to Ronning. Ronning took a whack at it, and that one goes off Hasek and pops up into the crowd. 7.5 remaining in a scoreless first period.
Let's go. With Bob Boughner, one of the ways you do that is to stick with him. And the boogeyman takes him from behind the net to the front of the net, gives him a couple of whacks and a push.
Galley now trying to work it out of his own end. McGillney holds it in. Boughner around on the boards. It comes to Hannon. Hannon slipping it ahead, and Pekka stepped away from a check, fired it up front. Intercepted one. Pekka goes after it again and keeps it in there. Babbage takes it back. Babbage cranks it around to the boards. Hannon holding it in. Slipped around to Henneken. Off by Pekka. Recovered by Ronning. Can't get it out in front, and Himmelab took a hack at it. Knocked down and chipped back into the corner. Ronning chasing after it again. Pekka getting there first, feeding it in to Himmelab. He couldn't control the puck, but it's held by Hannon. Leaving it to Pekka. Now knocked out. Here's Himmelab keeping it in there. Himmelab sending it back to Boughner with a shot right on. And that one is flagged down by McLean, who hangs onto it. Game day items, authentic Buffalo Sabres hats from CCM. The
It's 47 seconds to go here in the opening period. And Rick Lee, of course, one of your partners, right, partner? And he said, when you go up to the box today, he says, tell Generette one thing. He says, you don't get respect until you earn respect. so there's my message from Rick Lee to you.
Was he looking in the mirror when he said that by any chance? Well, we mentioned he and Don Lever and the family connection. He and Don are married to sisters. They are brothers-in-law. To Karen,
there's no rivalry there, though, right?
Oh, no, not much.
Not at all.
Less than 7 to go here in the opening period. Dowd and Holzinger are waiting for the puck to be dropped. Tip back. Lume lets it slide behind the net. Now picks it up. Guides it off the board. Sent out to center ice. Shannon's pass knocked down. Here's Olczyk dropping it back to Dowd. Cleared in front. Oh, and Hatchick handled that one as it deflected away. Olczyk after it again in the corner. Knocked to the blue line. Not out. Oh, the Sabres get another chance with Shannon. He loses control, but Ray taps it out to center and picked up by Holzinger. Holzinger in over the line. A shot by Kahn is right on and held by McLean. Chances at both ends.
And these are, for both teams, the two tough lines, physical players on the ice. And first Hasek ended up making a save, and then McLean. Rob Kahn played against the Rangers a couple of nights ago, played a very good game. They need him to play tough physical hockey. Delivered a couple of big hits at Madison Square Garden. And now getting an opportunity to play with Holzinger and Rob Ray.
And the Sabres, of course, without Brad May and without Randy Buried still.
And Rob Kahn had 21 goals in 27 games in the American Hockey League.
O'Coin kicks out behind the net, left it back there in the corner. Kahn tried to steal it away, can't do it. Better out of the boards. Holzinger kicks it back into Kahn. He tapped it behind the goal. Couture coming up with it. On to Hunter. Hunter tipping it ahead now. Brought back to center ice, and a penalty coming up here, and the Sabres will get their first power play of the afternoon. As Stoyanov went straight to the penalty box.
Now he upset Rob Kahn in the neutral zone, and the Sabres, whose power play has been playing well recently, tries for the first time here today. There's number 8, Stoyanov, tripping up Rob Kahn. That was an undisciplined penalty, and those kind of plays hurt your team. 6:01 to go here in the opening period. And the Sabres send LaFontaine, Grosek, and Plant the forward line. Now with, again, LaFontaine and Grosek, they love to set up on the left side of the ice. They're both right-handed shots and work. They like to get the puck down low to either LaFontaine or Grosek to the right of the goaltender. Pekka on one point, Galley on the other.
Galley will cruise all the way around behind the net. Here's Galley up the middle. It comes to Plant. Plant in over the line, getting around the outside. Plant tried to flip it in front and couldn't get it to Grosek. Back ahead. Galley keeps it in over to Pekka. Pekka to Grosek. He had to jump over his stick, and Lume takes advantage of that and clears it down the ice. Hooked up ahead for Galley with a minute and a half to go in the penalty and 5.5 left in a scoreless first period. Galley stacks away. McLean traps it behind the net. Entertained ideas of clearing it out himself, but then dumps it off when it's cleared down the ice. Pekka back after it, and Courtnall hustles after him. LaFontaine comes back on the play. But the pass goes to Galley. Cross ice now to LaFontaine. Bringing it in over the line. Dropped it back. And they're going to rule that an offside, saying LaFontaine did not have possession of the puck as he came in over the line. He did not have control of the puck. Let me update that.
Pat LaFontaine, however, continues to be the catalyst for Buffalo. How about that stat? Red hot. And skating as well as he's ever skated since recovering from that serious knee surgery. Playing at a minimum of 30 minutes per game, which is substantial for any forward. Usually the forwards are 24 to 26. LaFontaine was well over 30 against the Rangers the other night, and over 30 against Ottawa.
Sabres will have to be aware now that McGurney is out there killing off the penalty. Which has 45 seconds remaining in it. Shipnick cruising in over the line, giving it to Himmelev. That's another offside. We've had enough examples here of how not to play the game of hockey by both teams here in the first period.
Isn't that the truth? Over anxious Buffalo in that play. Yuri Himmelev still attempting to discover his scoring eye. It's been a long time. He just has 7 goals this year, 18 assists for 25 points. Certainly has filled the role defensively, penalty killing, and in the late stages of a game handling the puck up along the boards, but hasn't produced offensively.
40 seconds remaining in the penalty. Shipnick chased by Courtnall. Leaves it there to Galley. Shipnick and Courtnall both went down. The pass comes to Himmelev at center, but he gets checked. Galley drops it off for Barnaby. Barnaby overskates the puck, then runs into Mogilny. Mogilny kicks it free. Here's Mogilny, the shot, and Hasek makes the save. Sabres coming back with a pass to Galley at center. Pulls away from Mogilny. Brings it in over the line. Galley, LaFontaine, one-timer right on the dribble just wide off the pad of Barnaby, and it's puck free and set to center ice. Mogilny going after it, didn't pick it up. He would have been offside. 5 seconds left in the penalty. Long pass now to Barnaby. Barnaby gets in over the line. Barnaby runs shot. Goal! Kicked away by McLean to the corner. Tip behind the net. LaFontaine holding it in there. Canucks are back at full strength. Here's Himolev swinging around. To Wilson. His shot knocked down in front of the net. Clem took a whack at it. And it's swept away and knocked down the ice. And as Shannon goes back after it, this will be an icing call and bring it all the way back into Vancouver territory. Still scoreless in the first. Face off. Vancouver corner of the ring. Dowd and Holzinger. Ray got it back to Wilson, but his shot doesn't get through. Right off the boards to Ojek. Holzinger trying to keep it in, does. Knocked free to Ray. Ray chips it into the corner. First one there, Kuchera. Kuchera getting away from the check. And it's sent to center ice now. Rolls in wide of the net. Walker bumping with Wilson. Wilson goes down, gunned off the boards to the blue line and out to center. Canucks will get it back again. Ojek swinging around, bothered by Holzinger. Now fed up in the wing. Tip back through the middle to Dowd, coming with Walker. Dowd in over the line. Trailer back. He goes to Coin the shot. Here's the rebound. Hasek got it up in front of the shot. That just went wide of the net. Tipped around to the boards. Ray starting back. Ray to center ice. His pass hit a leg. He goes after it again. Wilson is hurt behind the play. And I'm not too sure exactly what happened to Mike Wilson, but the trainer, Jim Pizzatelli, didn't even wait for the whistle. He charged over the boards and out on the ice.
Now Wilson neither struck with the puck or with a high stick in the forehead area in front of the Buffalo net. Canucks with 2 quality scoring chances. A brilliant save on one of them by Dominik Hasek.
The linesman partner are going over to tell the referee what they saw.
And the referee is backing to the penalty box. The referee being Dave Jackson. Here's the opportunities. Watch Hasek on this save. A crowd of people in front of him, and still he got position to make the stop. Oh, there's a high stick at the bottom of the screen on the right. And number 29, Gino Ojek, caught Mike Wilson. As Ojek clips Mike Wilson in the forehead.
Well, he's going to get a penalty. It's a matter of what he's going to get.
Will it be 2, 4, or 5? It's at the discretion of the referee, Dave Jackson. If it's 5 minutes, it carries with it an automatic game misconduct. It is 4 minutes. And that's a fair call. And there's the result. Didn't cut him, but certainly a pretty good bruise. And I'm sure the referee is saying, look, I didn't see it, but the linesman pointed out the fall to me.
Yeah, there's those other 2 guys who blew the whistle.
Yeah, go talk to them. He's saying, don't blame me.
And Trevor Linden, I believe, is about to accept that explanation as Gino Ojek goes one way and Linden goes the other. Linden toward the player bench and Ojek toward the penalty bench. Buffalo will try to put another power play to its advantage here. Each team has had a chance with the man up. So unable to do anything with it.
And you get the feeling that this type of game, Rick Lay has his club playing a disciplined road game, boring hockey the way they play. You get the feeling that the special teams may win it here today.
Pratt flipped it in over the line, but that's immediately broken up and fired right back down the ice. LaFontaine goes by. Linden picks him up, and away goes Pekka. Pekka swinging it now to Shipnick. Shipnick in over the line. Shipnick took the shot! McLean got a pad on it and then covers up.
And that's what Buffalo coaches want Alex Shipnick to do. When the opportunity is there, go with the puck, take the shot. And what Shipnick often does, however, is make a great rush, get to the blue line, and then he skates himself into a closet with nowhere to go and no one to pass to. But here's this play. Now the ice is open and Shipnick reads it. and ends up with the scoring chance, although no one in front of the net. But they want him to shoot more.
Tip back to the point, held in to Pekka. Pekka sliding it to LaFontaine, to the corner to Grosek. Grosek wheels it around to the boards, but it's picked up immediately by Linden, who finds the opening. Hashing tips it to Pekka. Pekka swinging the puck away from Jelena. Jelena steals it back again. Jelena trying to clear it in front. Jelena's got it again, and it's broken up. Now Grosek through the boards and has to charge back after it. Feeds it across ice, and the Sabres can't connect at all at the moment. Tipped in by Mercer. Jelena picking it up behind the goal. Grosek kicked it away, giving it to Pekka. He swings it ahead. Sabres coming right back again. Barnaby flips it up on the wing to Zhitnik. Zhitnik in over the line. Back pass to Barnaby. Barnaby down low. Works it behind the net. Trying to go after it again. Barnaby holding it in there. Slips it back for LaFontaine. LaFontaine to Grosek. Knocked away. And the Canucks with Courtnall starting to center. And he elects to go back into his own end to take some time off the clock. Working it up to Mogilny. Mogilny cruising around. Fired one right off the referee. It's dumped across ice. LaFontaine just failed to get away. Taken back by Courtnall. He gets checked. Slides back into the corner again. Lume after it. Lume guns it on the boards, but it's tipped around to Mercer. He got it to Mogilny. That's chopped to center ice. Courtnall coming back. One man back. Courtnall in over the line. Lume trying to get it on the play and couldn't pick it up. Lume after it again. Gets checked in the corner by Himmelab. Less than a minute remaining in the period. Himmelab snakes his way ahead and leaves it there to Galley. Galley, the long pass to Himmelab. Kicks it up onto his stick. Plant picks it up. Can't get anywhere. Across it goes to Huddy. Huddy will work it in. Lane trucks it behind the net. It's gunned around on the boards. Huddy can't get it. It comes to center ice. Here's a break for Mogilny. Going right on goal. Mogilny scores! A short-handed goal by Alex Mogilny as he picks up the loose puck with a clean-cut breakaway and cashes it. And the Vancouver Canucks get on the board.
Alex Mogilny scores his 52nd of the season, his 5th shorthanded goal, and I'll bet that is extremely satisfying for number 89. Now the puck glances wildly off the glass. Mogilny gambles and wins the shot along the ice between the legs of Hasek. And he is not noted for scoring a lot of breakaway goals. I mean, he probably gets more breakaways than anyone, but he certainly buried that.
Huddy loses control. Here's Linden coming in over the line. Took his shot, and Hasek scoots it away now to Galley. 20 seconds left in the period. Galley coming right back again. Hits the Canuck line and over. And another offside against Buffalo. The Sabres are going to need a first period intermission to regroup.
52 goals for Mogilny. His 93rd point in his 62nd game. And he's had, what, 3 or 4 others good shots here in the opening 20 minutes. 15.6 seconds to go. That's a telling statistic. 40% of Canucks goals. And he's waving at the Buffalo bench. And that might have been for Rob Ray, who is the closest guy to Mogilny.
Galley had to squeeze a pass ahead, tipped in over the line, but Holzinger gets taken off the puck by Babbage. Rolled around on the boards again. Tipped in. Holzinger. Back he comes to Galley. Galley took his shot, kicked away, rebound in front, another whack at it. And the buzzer signals the end of the opening period.
Now Buffalo did a very poor job of getting the puck deep and working the Vancouver defense, and if they're going to be successful today, they must do that.
And it's Alexander Mogilny's shorthanded goal that's the difference in this game as we go down to Barry Butel.
Thank you, Rick. Coming up during the first
Marathon shifts also, where you'll be on the ice for 3.5, 4 minutes at times. But not so in the first period, but the Sabres, however, do get a chance here in the second. 1:08 remaining in the double minor penalty to the Vancouver Gino Ojek. The Sabres must do a better job of getting the puck in deep and working it down low. The Canucks are, particularly when they're killing penalties, line up in the neutral zone and at the Vancouver blue line. And when you are faced with that, you must make intelligent shoot-ins, and Buffalo did not in the opening period.
So the two 16s, the two captains face off against one another. Hashik's going to give this to Shipnick. Up the middle, but too far for Plant. And it's hammered right back in again. Tipped into the corner for Galley. Galley got away from one. Here's Gary Galley to Shipnick. Shipnick gets checked at center ice. Plant has to come back, but Challenor carries on to Linden. Linden sends it all the way back to center. Only a half minute left in the power play for Buffalo. LaFontaine will pick it up this time as the Canucks change. Swings it ahead. Back it goes to Shipnick again to LaFontaine and over the line. LaFontaine curling around behind the net. Oh, he's got it shot! It rolled to McLean. He didn't see it until the last second, and Shipnick partially fanned on it.
My goodness, you cannot ask for anything more than that. LaFontaine with the perfect play to the front, and Shipnick misfired. Perfect position to score a goal from, and the puck dribbled to the goaltender. But the speed of LaFontaine opened up the whole ice, and he cruised behind the net. And watch Shipnick gets himself perfectly in the slot and misfires. Face off to the right of McLean with 17 seconds, I beg your pardon, remaining in Ojic's penalty.
Held in by Shipnick for Galley. Galley works it down low. Galley swings it behind the net. Brochik is there to LaFontaine. LaFontaine curling around. Dumps it back into the corner again. Good in front, and Galley couldn't connect. Cross to Brochik. His shot in the leg. Vancouver back at full strength. Galley holding it in. Dumped in for Brochik. Ripped it wide of the net on a one-timer. Fired back in behind the goal again, but recovered by Hennigan. Hennigan chips it back into the corner. Dowd is there. Swings it around the boards. LaFontaine could not catch up with it. It goes to center. Here's Shipnick bringing it right back in again. Shipnick working it in over the line. Back it comes to Himmelab. Himmelab holding it in there. Himmelab turning. Fired a long shot. McLean steered that to the corner. Himmelab after it again. Can't control the puck. It's tapped out to center where Wilson catches up with it. He feeds it ahead. Clipped right back in onto Wilson's stick. Both teams engineering a change. Himmelab trying to get away at center. Can't do it. Knocked down and fed off the boards by Shannon. Now Ojik brings it in over the line, and that is an offside. Gino doesn't think that to be true, but the linesman rules otherwise.
Well, number 7, Cliff Ronning, an opportunity to play for his hometown team, the Vancouver Canucks. Now, he owns a Harley Davidson, and I know Matthew Barnaby's not going to like this, but his nickname is the Rat, and he has it painted on his gas tank. Well, he doesn't exactly fulfill the dimensions of a motorcycle guy, does he, at 5'8", 160?
Well, he doesn't look like a rat either. No. And he doesn't play like one. Back up.
He's an imposter.
Hannon couldn't catch up with the puck. He knocks down the Vancouver Rat. Round on the boards it comes for Himmelab. Himmelab whipping one high in the air through center. That'll be taken by Kutera. Leading it up ahead, deflected out to center ice. Ronning catches up with it, taken away by Shannon. Shannon whipping it across ice to Hannon. Hannon tried to tip it in front to Himmelab, couldn't get it there. Wilson collecting it now to Shannon. Shannon, long pass through the middle. Buffalo is changing though, and Barnaby has to go after it. This is a true Rat, folks. Pearson can't get anywhere. Ronning loses it. Away goes Pearson, in over the line. And there's going to be a penalty here, and we talk Rat and Rat.
Well, Cliff Ronning is going 2 minutes for hooking Matt Barnaby. And a faceoff coming up to the right of the Vancouver goaltender. Barnaby was chasing that puck that was tipped ahead from Pearson when Ronning pulled him to the ice. Here's the play. Now Ronning, number 7, actually got his butt end into the hip of Barnaby.
And the Sabres, who not only did not connect with a double minor power play at the end of the period and the first of this period, but also gave up a goal in that time, go back with another chance now. LaFontaine back up. Let it go. Look out. That That one goes sailing up into the crowd and got up there in a hurry. Nobody hurt.
Now, coming into today's game, the Sabres power play had been clicking impressively. 10 for 34. So far, the Canucks, let's give them some credit, have done a great job on Buffalo. Trevor Linden killing this penalty forward was excellent in the first period. He's out there with Jelinas. Jelinas is one of the best skaters on the Canucks.
Smacked through the middle immediately, and Pekka flags that one down as Merzen will let it go. Away goes LaFontaine. LaFontaine darting to center, trying to pull away from Linden. Does, leaves it there to Platt. Platt ducks down low. Platt looking in front. Back for Pekka. Clears it over on the other side. Galley chops it into LaFontaine, and Platt picked it out of the air, but it's cleared back to the boards. LaFontaine stumps it into Groshek. Groshek trying to flip it in front. Went behind the net again. Hit the referee. And Lume takes advantage of that and sends it down the ice. Fed ahead for Galley. Galley to LaFontaine and over the line. Intercepted by Ronning. Galley keeps it in. Galley bothered from behind. Got it into Groshek in the corner. He can't get anywhere. Recovered by Lume. Tapping it around on the other side. And it's drilled all the way down the ice again by Merzen. A minute remaining in the penalty. Harry Galley gets it for center. Plants pass to Groshek offside.
Michael Groshek scored another goal at Madison Square Garden. And it was a goal scorer's goal as he picked up a loose puck in front of the net. Just pulled it back about a foot or two as the goaltender was down and then lofted it in the top corner. He is really developing here with an opportunity to play for Buffalo. And the impressive thing is he's only 20 years old. And playing with LaFontaine, he has been clicking along. They have a great chemistry, the two of them. But playing without their regular winger, Brad May, who is going to be out of the lineup for 1 to 2 weeks with a fractured bone in his forearm.
Shipnick getting away. There's Shipnick getting it over the line. Shipnick clearing it front, and Holzinger failed to connect. Himalev can't keep it in. It goes to Courtnall. He leaves it there for Hennigan. It went wide of the goal. Himalev bothered by Hennigan. They both hit the deck. 20 seconds to go on the penalty. Shipnick lugging the mail again. Comes through center away from McGillney. Brings it in over the line. Shipnick floats it around behind the net. Knocked down by McLean, but held in by LaFontaine. Tips it into Holzinger. Trying to get away from Hennigan and does. Sends it back along the boards. Accepts another pass in the corner. Holzinger gets knocked down from behind. LaFontaine in front of Galley, and he couldn't control the pass. Canucks get it back as they return to full strength up to McGillney. McGillney winds up, takes a shot. As she kicked that away. McGillney trying to jam it in front again, and it squirts free. Recovered by Himalev. Himalev up for LaFontaine, too far. McLean slips it around to the boards. Ronning starting back. Look out! Here comes Barnaby, and Ronning saw him coming. Barnaby's got it again at center, waiting for his teammates to get onside. It's tipped back in over the line on a delayed offside, but worked up to Ronning. He gets to center ice. Taken away. And finally, Platt has the puck. Platt starting back. He looks for somebody to give it to. Wheels and deals in over the line. Platt still after it. Chips it around behind the net. Newsom trying to catch up with it. He loses control. It's taken by a coin. Long pass through the middle, too far for Ojek. He chases after it. Wilson's on him. Went behind the net, and apparently Ojek misses it. That is an icing call against the Canucks. They are in the front by 1.
The 96 Lumina from Chevrolet, with standard features like air, automatic, and dual airbags, plus a price that beats Taurus by over $2,000. It's clear that Lumina is an extremely good value, especially if the Taurus isn't exactly your type. Now, get low 4.8% financing on Lumina at your local Chevrolet Geo dealer.
We have a Buddy Burger.
Office and get your hard hat and discounts on selected Sabres games. Trying to kick it free, one behind the net. McLean helps it around on the boards. Stoyanov took a hit. Held in by Platt. Long shot right on. That's kicked away. Rebound as Kahn let it go. Here's Platt. Knocked off his stick. And it's whipped out to center ice. And it got it in over the line. The shot. Hackett knocked it away. Rebound. That's tipped away. And it rolls all the way over to the blue line. Backed right back in by a coin. Left there for Wilson. Wilson to Kahn. Kahn slips it through center and inside the Vancouver line. And they're going to call this one icing. And now Barnaby is doing some shoving with every. Oh, and Hunter came over and labeled Barnaby, and Hunter's got to get a penalty there. Well, Stoyanov wants to get in there. They all want a piece of Buffalo's rat.
Well, that's more like it. The Buffalo Sabres have not played with enough intensity or physical presence here this afternoon against Vancouver. They have been winning recent games and been successful with their tough play. And they haven't been tough here this afternoon up to this point. And it takes somebody perhaps like Barnaby to get things stirred up. And Hunter ought to be getting the penalty on this play. This was well after the whistle as Barnaby pursued the puck into the zone and tapped Gutierrez with the stick. And Hunter right here comes in and pops Barnaby.
And Buffalo gets another try with the man advantage.
Vancouver penalty, number 19, Jim Hunter. 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Now the penalty is cross-checking 2 minutes. One of the things that I mentioned, Buffalo shoot-ins. They've been trying to shoot the puck hard around. And the goaltender, Kirk McLean, has done a great job of stopping pucks behind the net this afternoon. Now, Buffalo maybe might want to change up their shoot-ins and start to dump it softly into the corners and keep it away from the goaltender. He picked up an assist on Alex Mogilny's shorthanded goal. The goaltender McLean did. And that was his 7th, or I beg your pardon, his 8th career assist.
Yali looking for Grosek, couldn't pick him up. Grosek has to come back as Linden is all over him. Now Grosek stacks away. Up on the wing it comes. Shipnick can't get anywhere. Linden picks it off and leaves it there to Lume. Lume turning around at his own end, and it's gunned down the ice. LaFontaine watched by Jalona. Away goes Shipnick. Shipnick feeding it ahead, goes after a return pass, chipped it in over the line. Lume got it back, and he sails it right back down the ice again. The crowd starting to get on the Sabres for being unable to penetrate with the man advantage. Pass to LaFontaine, he'll try it. LaFontaine into Vancouver territory, going wide. LaFontaine looking in front, all the way around behind the net. LaFontaine slides it back down to Shipnick, to LaFontaine in his skates. LaFontaine curling around. He gets it into Platt, back for LaFontaine, lets it go, and he puts it on the rebound! Somehow, it just slithered by the goal post. And is fired back down the ice. Shipnick picking it up with less than a minute to go on the power play. Pass for Platt. Platt to hit to LaFontaine. He chases after it, but he's shot. No! Rebound in front. Kept in there by Buffalo. Galley and LaFontaine collided with the goal post, and the net's been knocked.
Now, Kirk McLean made another outstanding stop on the rising shot from LaFontaine. And I've been watching McLean here today. He has done a good job, too, of standing up. And Buffalo might want to try shooting the puck down on the ice on him. He has not had a great season, just 14 wins, 9 losses, and 4 ties for McLean, and a .882 goals against average. There was a play to the front as the puck just slid wide of the corner. LaFontaine knocked the net off, and so the faceoff is outside the blue line with 38 seconds remaining in Hunter's penalty.
Here's Shipnick for LaFontaine. In over the line, hit a leg, got back again. LaFontaine swinging in front of the net. Ends up around in the corner again. Kept in by Himalev. Forced back to Galley. He steers it into Himalev again. Around behind the net to LaFontaine. LaFontaine trying to squeak it out in front. The jam out of the crease. Knocked away. Shooting a shot. That's knocked down. And it's sent away to center and tapped down the ice, and the Canucks return to full strength. And here Dominic Hasek warning his defense. Even. Here comes Zhitnik in over the line. Took his shot and ripped it wide. Zhitnik trying to carry on. Tapped away by Babic, but not out. Himalev keeping it in. Himalev in front to Hughes. Couldn't get the backhand away. No, he does. It's right on. Cleared to the corner. In front to Hamden with his shot. He fired it wide. And it comes off the boards and is sent away to center ice. And over the line, Jelena. Jelena tried to squeak his way through, and Hasek is there to collect it off the backboards. So Buffalo comes alive offensively, but still is looking for its first goal of the game.
Welcome to Hockey 101.
It ahead for Hughes. Hughes banks it off the boards. It dribbles down the ice. Hannon goes hustling in there. He gets squeezed out in the corner by Aucoin. Aucoin fell, got it around to McGillney. He tipped it ahead, and away comes the Vancouver Canucks with Aksuda. Aksuda trying to cut in on goal. Took the shot, and Hasek hangs onto it. And now Aksuda and Ray must be separated.
Roman Aksuda barreled out of the Vancouver zone after taking the pass from Mogilny and moved right in on Dominic Hasek. Aksuda from Murmansk, Russia, 6'3", 230-pounder. Scored 16 goals as a rookie last year and was second overall in rookie scoring. And this is Aksuda using his strength, size to get the scoring chance on Hasek. His great body position, using the left arm to ward off Rob Ray, but he couldn't score.
Buddy winging it around to Himalev, leaves it there to Wilson. He tapped it to center ice. Wilson after it again. Flipped it ahead. Platt carries on. Here's Platt with a shot. That deflected off the goaltender's glove. Platt, he charges into the corner, but it's taken away by Kuchera. He gets knocked down, and a penalty coming up here, and it's going to go to Derek Platt for tripping.
Derek Platt tripped up Kuchera in the corner. And so the Canucks, on that shorthanded goal by Mogilny, will try in the power play. Platt gets his stick caught up in the legs of Kuchera. And the Sabres will kill or attempt to kill the penalty with Pekka and Dave Hannon up front.
We're almost halfway through regulation time in this game. The only goal, the shorthanded effort by Mogilny late in the first period. Jelena dropping it off in his own end. It's Merson away to center. Hasek slowed it down, but it's kept into Jelena, tried to feed it in front. Jelena around to Linden. Linden swings around along the boards, has Mogilny down low, fakes the pass to him, now gives it to him. Mogilny got it out in front. Hasek was there to foil two Canucks. Linden picks it up to Lume. He slips it across to Linden again. Linden spinning around to Jyrki Lume. Jyrki Lume. Let his shot go. Caroms into the corner, broken up by Buffalo, and Hannon hammers it off the glass and down the ice. Sabres change up. 1:15 to go in the penalty. Brought back in by Linden again, leaving it there to Mogilny. Mogilny swings it into Linden behind the net. Linden then gives it away to Holzinger. Holzinger's got time, and he taps it away. A minute left in the penalty to Platt. Vancouver starting back to Jelena. Jelena in over the line, leaving it to Courtnall. Courtnall across now to Lume. Lume trying to go wide, works it down low. Lume trying to shove it in front, broken up, he gets it back again. Lume picking it up, leaving it there to Henneke. He feeds it back into the corner. Linden's got it for Vancouver. Linden looking with the puck, sends it to Lume. The other side, the shot went wide, rebound. Tipped around again, kept in by Linden. Back it goes to Lume. 30 seconds remaining in the penalty. To Linden again. Lume, a one-timer, deflected right on. Hasek giving it to Holzinger. He fires it down the ice, and he'll head to the bench. Canucks try to take advantage of a Buffalo change. Coming back again and over the line to Courtnall. Now to Ronning. Ronning drops it back to the point. Into the blue line. Kept in there by Vancouver again. Courtnall across to Ronning. Ronning fires one off Putner. Taken away by Pekka. Buffalo coming back. Pekka and LaFontaine. Sabre. Trying to tip it back, but it's recovered by the Canucks. Hedican. He'll slide it to Babbage through the middle. Aaron got it up on the wing. Hunter tipping one off into the corner. Huddy is there first to Hannon. Hannon looking for a pass and gets it to Hughes. Hughes fakes his shot and over the line. Took his shot right on. Now the Canucks trying to come back again. Whipped across ice to Stoyanov. Stoyanov leaves it there. And a shot by Babbage nowhere near the net that ends up back at center ice. To Hedican. Hedican feeding it ahead. Stoyanov belted by Huddy. They jam right at center ice. Hedican's got it back again. Up for Hunter. Hunter squeezed out by Galley. It slides back in and left there for Huddy. Huddy ducked away from Stoyanov, who went down. Poke at it on the boards. Canucks keeping it in. Now here's Galley taking it away. Vancouver trying to change. Galley slipping a pass that wobbles its way in over the line. Flipped up the middle again, but LaFontaine keeps it into Hughes, and he couldn't get it back to LaFontaine. Recovered by Scott Walker. Walker swinging around behind the net. He feeds it over on the wing. Lume comes in over the line, tried to drag his way through. Hasek off the glass for Pekka. Pekka kicks it up onto his stick now through center. It deflects it over the blue line. Merzen gets it back. Pekka can't keep it in. Shoveled back in by Wilson. Sabres clear the zone on the delayed offside. And it's whipped up on the wing for Scott Walker again. He'll leave it there. Now brought back in by Vancouver into the corner for Walker around to Ojik. Ojik bumping with Pekka, but Ojik still got the puck. Ojik curling around, flips it across to an open wing. Walker fanned on it, goes after it again. Stuffing it back into the corner. Hasek comes out to give it to Wilson. All the way around to LaFontaine. He took a whack at it. That comes across ice. It's kicked up ahead to Kroshik. Kroshik ran into the linesman, brought it in over the line, and couldn't clear it down low to Pekka. Merzen coming back. Merzen feeds it ahead for Walker. Walker looking in front of the net. Shot just wide. Kroshik takes out his check. Here's Shannon with it now. Shannon. Long pass went all the way to center ice. Vancouver getting it back again. Tipped up to Mogilny. Kroshik runs into him. And McGillney picks up the loose puck. Gets in over the line. Trying to go outside. Didn't get his shot away. And Shipnick runs down him and made the save. It fed back down the ice and racing down there after it to Chera. That'll be enough for an icing against Buffalo with a little over 5.5 to go here in the second period.
Now Alexander Mogilny is so explosive. He doesn't need much room to create a scoring opportunity. Watch this. As the turnover occurs in the neutral zone, Mogilny picks up the puck. See how quickly he accelerates and ends up with this backhand chance that Zhitnik deflected up over the glass. 67 of those 211 goals came, or I beg your pardon, 76 in one season.
Barnaby can't get it out. Canucks keeping it in again. Fed in front. Barnaby picks it off. Barnaby with a long pass to Himolev. Himolev will tip it in over the line. Platt gets slowed down. McLean feeding it around to the boards. Barnaby trying to keep it in there, but it's deflected and goes to center ice onto Buchner's stick. He'll rip it right back in again. O'Coin behind his net. Bags it around to Kuchera. He hacked it ahead. And it deflects and goes to center ice to Ronning with Mogilny. Ronning in over the line. Back to Mogilny again. Looking in front. Taken away by Zhitnik. Zhitnik ducking behind the goal. Feeds it up on the wing. Barnaby trying to get free. Barnaby does. Now Barnaby bringing it in over the line with his teammates changing. He got slashed. No penalty. And he fired it wide of the net. Mogilny dumped it off of Hannon all the way to center ice. And Ray hacks it right back in again. Burrell back there by McLean into the corner. Ray hustles in after it. And he scooped it right over the glass and into the crowd. That short-handed goal late in the first stands up as the difference.
Hey, hockey fans, there's a new official in the NHL.
For MAC tournament semifinal action immediately following Sabres hockey on your home for college hoops, the Empire Sports Network.
Now 4 minutes 31 seconds to go here in the second. And not many scoring chances. Just 19 shots in goal for Vancouver and only 14 for Buffalo.
But he'll tap it into the corner. The door goes flying open.
Well, when did we last see that?
Shane's voices of Wayne Cashman and Jim Schoenfeld. The only thing was the two of them finished it out in the alleyway.
As the sparks were flying on the cement. Now that woke everybody up at the Zamboni entrance. Let's listen to this hit.
Make the right decision. Insist on Karuba collision. Nobody hurt. No problem. Lume's got it again in the corner. And he taps it out to the middle. Putty. Flipping it right back in again. That's the flag down. Here's not out. Here's Ray. Oh, and he hacked it wide. Ray after it again. Takes a hit but keeps it in the Lume. Got peppered again by Hughes. Putty keeping it in. Putty squeezing it to Hannon to Ray behind the net. Trying to fire it in front. Hughes backhand. One over top of the net. Hughes got that. No penalty. Round on the boards. Putty keeping it in. His long shot is knocked down. And the Canucks will start back again to Linden. Linden at center. Check from behind. Ray coming back. Ray feeds it in. Gets squeezed out by Lume. Went behind the net. Pekka goes flying in there. And around to the boards again. Pekka holding it in. Loses it to Linden. Sabres are trying to change. Linden bothered by LaFontaine. Drops it off to Lume. Lume for Linden. Linden squeezes it up on the wing. Kept in by Buffalo, however. Added back into the corner. Pekka hustling in there. Pekka cleaned out in front. Intercepted. And fired off the boards to the blue line. Shannon unable to hold it in. Galley to Pekka. His cross-ice pass for LaFontaine in the corner. And he almost ran into the referee. Grosek behind the net. Grosek can't come up with it. Canucks don't get it out. Grosek keeping it in to Pekka. Back it comes down to Wilson. It jumped away from him and went to center. Grosek comes over to take his man off the play. Now Pekka firing it over the line. That's intercepted. Grosek getting it back. Overskates it. Comes to center ice. Wilson takes down Courtnall and a penalty here to Wilson. Hojic shot deflects off Shannon and goes out of play.
Now just in the neutral zone. 2 minutes for tripping to Mike Wilson. As he sent Courtnall flying. Watch the knee. Knee to knee. The right knee of Wilson catching Courtnall in the knee. That could have been a kneeing penalty, but called tripping. Just after Buffalo put together 2 excellent forechecking shifts, Wilson takes that penalty.
I think the fans are upset because of the fact there was no penalty called a moment before that behind the net when Brent Hughes went down.
Brent Hughes was sent flying behind the Vancouver net. Dave Jackson, the referee, did not call a penalty on that. So Hannon comes onto the ice along with Mike Pekka. 2:46 remaining here in the second. The only goal, a shorthanded tally by Alexander Mogilny back in the opening period.
Lume flipping it up on the wing. Knocked down at the blue line. Shannon is there to tip it back out. Mogilny dealing it across to Linden. Linden swings it back to Lume. That's broken up, but not out. Lume keeping it in. Fed into Linden again. Plucks it out of the air. Trevor Linden. Wheels it down low. Gelinas to Linden. Back it comes. Now Linden's got it again. Linden. Lume. Shoddy and Hannon. Kept in by Gelinas. Gelinas swings it back into Mogilny. Mogilny trying to get away. Tipped it into the corner. Shannon is there. Doesn't get it out. Linden keeping it into Mogilny. Cross-ice pass to Lume in his skates. Lume hanging on to it now. Lume leads it over on the other side. Gets it right back again. He cleared it in front, but it's intercepted and away goes Zhipnik. Zhipnik for Pekka. Pekka to the Vancouver line. Took a hit from Lume, but dumped it in, and the Sabres change. 1 minute left in the penalty. Back to center comes Linden. Swings in over the blue line. That is an offside.
Trevor Linden from Medicine Hat, 6'4", 210-pounder. His 8th season in the NHL. 4 straight 30 or more goal seasons for Vancouver. Always been consistent with that 30 to 35 goals and around 75 to 80 points. 3 times the Canucks' most valuable player, and having a good season this year with 65 points.
Putty takes his time and just flings it down the ice. 35 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here's Hedican. Chips it back. The shot, and that goes wide as it was ripped by Aksuda wide of the net. Held in by the Canucks, though, in front again. Back it comes to Hedican. Hedican winding up. That's nowhere near the goal. Held in by Ronning. Ronning working it down low again. Ronning takes the return pass. Ronning let his shot go. Hasek knocked it away. Flipped to the blue line. Not in. Held in by Kuchera. To Courtnall, swinging around. Dozen seconds left of the penalty. Courtnall still hanging on to the puck. Now he took a shot. That one deflected just wide. Canucks keeping it in, keeping the pressure on. Cleared beside the net again. Jammed out in front, taken away. Sabres don't get it out, though. And a penalty will come up here to Holzinger as the shot went off the goalpost when Ronning let it go. And that was clearly after the whistle had blown. And that draws the ire of several of the Sabres players.
Now, Gary Galley was the closest one, and Ronning rang the shot off the goalpost about 2 or 3 seconds after the whistle had gone, and Ronning says, well, I didn't hear it. But the penalty coming up to Vancouver for tripping about 20 feet in front of Hasek. Watching the right of the screen. I beg your pardon, in the middle of the screen. And Aksuda goes to the box. Galley has a chat with Ronning for shooting the puck late.
Ronning has yet to go to the penalty box, and it's not going to be him. It's Aksuda.
No, it's Aksuda who goes 2 minutes for tripping.
Yeah.
And we'll play 43 seconds to go in the second period. Buffalo with the man advantage now.
And as you start thinking about the warmer weather, it's tough to do that today. I fully understand that, but during the warmer weather, let's put it this way, in those balmy days of August, it'll be time for hockey schools again.
Yeah, it's featuring a school for beginners for boys and girls, starting at 4 years old and up, and other programs.
Buffalo with 40 seconds remaining in the period. Left for Zhitnik. Peek at the clock and now start to come out to LaFontaine. LaFontaine getting away from Courtnall to the Vancouver line. Leaves it back there to Galley. Galley took a shot. Rebound! And it's chopped away to the boards. And the Canucks all kinds of time to send it down the ice. Galley back there. Courtnall's right on it. Galley trying to fend off Courtnall, but he gets checked by him. Recovers to Zhitnik. Zhitnik through the middle. To the Vancouver line and over. He loses control, and that's going to bring the second period to an end. Face up, but somebody didn't like it. One of the officials is going to do it again.
That was Ron Asselstein who said they didn't do it properly. Picky. Yelling at Courtnall and Groshek for coming into the circle.
That is a little picky when you're starting the period.
Well, Ron told me, I saw him down in the lobby there. He spent 5 hours getting back from Detroit yesterday as he drove from Detroit to Guelph, and there were whiteouts all the way. So
well, that explains it. He's in a snip then. I understand now.
Sleep.
Well, the puck is cleared into Vancouver territory, but Lume is there to guide it right back down the ice. A minute left in the penalty to Aksuda. Pass for LaFontaine. LaFontaine slips in over the line. Oh, he dropped it back, but it's broken up and slipped ahead now to Linden. Linden with one man back. It's into Buffalo territory. Platt takes it away. Zhitnik. He'll start out. Working it up the middle. Groshek flinging one into the corner. LaFontaine racing in there, but he gave it in front and just slithered it by the post. Back for Galley, and Galley fired it out to center ice. Hits it right back again. Here's Galley squeezing it to LaFontaine, trying to clear it over the line, but Linden breaks it up and taps it down the ice, and he'll go to the bench. 15 seconds remaining in the power play. Just a minute into the third period, and a pass by Zhitnik missed everybody. Here's Groshek trying to kick at it, couldn't do it. Mogilny giving it to Ronning. He can't get anywhere. Himmelev starting back with a long pass to LaFontaine. Canucks return to full strength. LaFontaine left it to Barnaby to LaFontaine. LaFontaine gets it over on the other side. Galley lets it go, and it's kicked into the corner. Running. Can't get it out of there. But now it's fed up on the wing, and the Canucks come back again. Suda and McGillney 2-on-1, and Wilson is there to knock it away. They jam in the corner. McGillney trying to flip it in front. That's broken up. Wilson got it around the boards, but not out. Ronning holding it in. Ronning taking off the puck by Wilson. Wilson wings it around on the glass. Recovered, and Himalev starts away. Himalev stepping away at center, but couldn't catch up to the puck. Buffalo making another change. Tipped over to Barnaby. Barnaby sliding it to Himalev. Himalev bumps at center ice, and it's taken back by Vancouver. Petticoat. Mogilny. Lapointe. Shannon is there to deflect it right back in again. Mogilny. He just gets rid of it to center ice. He's trying to get to the bench. Wilson lugs it back in for Buffalo. Wilson goes to his backhand, trying to clear it in front. It's recovered and sent off the boards by Hedican. Kept in there by the Sabres, though, in front. Knocked down and taken back by Ojek. Didn't get it out. Holzinger doing it in. Holzinger walking right in. Oh, McLean made the save and robbed Holzinger. Back comes Mogilny. Mogilny swings in over the Buffalo line. He spins around, still has the puck. Mogilny still got it. To the point, the long shot just goes wide. It's the referee in the corner. Holzinger chopping at it. Well, he feeds it off the glass, got it up on the wing. And it's taken by Barnaby. 3 minutes into this third period. Barnaby starting back, brings it in over the line, but that will be called on the offside.
Well, a couple of excellent plays in the Vancouver zone resulted in Brian Holzinger being face-to-face with Kirk McLean. And Holzinger, the Buffalo rookie, took it to the backhand and could not beat the Vancouver goaltender. Here's the play developing. Buffalo getting a turnover. And Holzinger pulls McLean to the backhand and slides it off the side of the net.
Couldn't get it up.
Well, everything was done properly in that play, wasn't it? Except the finish was not on the wood.
Hunter unable to pick up the puck. Zhitnik's got it to Hughes. Hughes with a long pass for Ray. Bounced off his leg. Sent back in the other direction. Huddy gives it to Ray. He chops it in. McLean behind the net. Lost it. Here's Hughes. He couldn't get the shot on. Zhitnik moves up. Zhitnik looking in front. Goes around behind the net. Zhitnik got right out in front. And it's hacked just wide of the net. Hughes picks it up. Hughes trying to work it in front. He goes down. Whipped all the way around to the boards and ends up at center ice. Zhitnik turning again. Loses control. Kept in and the long shot by Stoyanov is right on. Huddy flipped it. Didn't get it out. Hughes will. Hughes sending it at center, but it's a two-liner to Ray, and play is called on the offside. Approaching the 4-minute mark now in the third.
Let's see how much you know about gasoline. Ready? In 1921, who opened the world's first drive-in service station? Your dad used it. His dad used it. Today, Gulf's Advent 21 formula keeps fuel injectors clean and helps my car run better than ever before. Whether it's full service or self-serve. For the life of your car, you know the name. Go, go.
Okay, boy. Now, just like I taught you, I want you to open the cooler, and I want you to get me an ice-cold Pepsi. Come on, boy. You can do it. Good boy, good boy. Maybe later we'll play Frisbee.
Hey, big boy. You got another one of those for me?
Oh.
You are my je t'aime.
I love this tree.
Mad Hatters are still looking for you. Look for the Mad Hatter display wherever rolled gold pretzels are sold. Purchase 2 bags of rolled gold pretzels. Bring the receipt to the Sabres ticket office. Receive your hard hat and discounts on selected Sabres games. Galley behind his own net. Challenge back there. Split free. Galley hacked it around to the boards. LaFontaine drops it off. Didn't get it out. Luckner knocked it away. Here's Galley feeding it through the middle. Gun back in the other direction by Merzic. LaFontaine in over the line. LaFontaine right to the goal crease. Kept into Galley. He worked it around to the behind the net. Lume takes it away. Left it on the boards. Galley keeping it in. Lume's got it again. Lume Lume swinging out of his own end now. Grosek trying to catch up with him. To Courtnall. Courtnall moves his way in over the line. That's knocked down. Lume will tap it in. Galley takes it back. Watched by Linden. Galley swings it now to Bugner. Bugner for Gary Galley once more. To LaFontaine. LaFontaine is fire center. Picks it up off the boards, then loses control. It's deflected in over the line. Bugner taking it away. Bugner for Galley. To Bugner. Up on the wing for LaFontaine. He squeezed it ahead, gets it right back again, and then couldn't get it over to Grosek. Then to center ice. Mogilny in over the line with Ronning. Mogilny to Ronning. He scores! And Alexander Mogilny comes back to haunt the Buffalo Sabres. First by scoring shorthanded, and then by setting up his line mate Cliff Ronning to make it 2-0.
Vancouver's game plan today, play conservative, force turnovers in the neutral zone. Well, this one occurred at the Vancouver blue line. Watch this pass at the top of the screen. 2-on-1 against Shannon. Perfect pass from Mogilny to Ronning. 2-0.
Wilson trying to squeeze one through the middle. It's clipped in over the line, but this is going to be offside. The rule Barnaby got in there too early ahead of Holzinger.
So Clip Ronning from Vancouver, whose favorite team as a kid growing up in that area, of course, was a Vancouver Canuck, scores to make it 2-0 from Alexander Mogilny. And boy, the Sabres now must try to open this game up and get some scoring chances.
Barnaby feeds it into Platt in front of the net. Holzinger never got his shot away as Hennigan covered off from behind. Back down to Ronning. Ronning slipping it up at center to Mogilny again. Steps in over the line. Mogilny leaving it there to Ronning. Ronning checked in the circle. Knocked free to Holzinger. He comes back to Barnaby. Barnaby to the Vancouver blue line. In for Platt. Platt clipped it in front of the net. Here's Holzinger keeping it in. Around to Platt once again. Platt ducks away for Barnaby. It slides back into the corner. Recovered to Noxuda. High in the air to center ice. Shannon knocks it down. Holzinger will whip it in. Buffalo will change. Hennigan to Dowd. Jim Dowd through center ice. Pulls away from Hughes. Got it in over the line. Then got checked by Hannon. Terra going back after it for the Canucks. He just flips it high in the air. Huddy inside his own line. Watched by Walker to Zhitnik. Ahead for Hughes. Tried to chip one in. Runs into O'Coin. It's left there and squeezed by Ojik to center ice, and he carries on. Ojik flinging it across in over the line. That's broken up, but it's called on the offside.
Gino Ojik taking a regular shift here this afternoon for Vancouver. 6'3", 210-pound. He is a full-blooded Algonquin Indian who speaks English, French, and Algonquin. And this past summer completed a spiritual journey of healing from Calgary to Vancouver in 20 days, educating Native youths on the dangers of drugs and alcohol. And actually, Sandy Fitzpatrick from the Calgary Flames joined Roman on that trek.
Sandy McCarthy.
Or Sandy McCarthy, right.
Ray dumps his check. Kuchan ends up in behind the net. Zhitnik to Huddy. Swings it off the boards. Ray trying to get away at center. Will whip it in. Blaine plays it in behind the net. Now taps it around on the glass. Hunter tipped it free. It comes to center ice. And it's passed back through the middle again. And the long shot. Hasek handles that to Huddy. Huddy uses the boards, doesn't get it out. Baronic keeping it in there. He let it go, and Hasek kicks it into Huddy in the corner. Huddy from behind sends it ahead. Hughes clearing it to center to Hannon. Hannon tips it back across ice for Zhitnik. Zhitnik will feed one in. The teams are changing. Over 7 minutes gone in the third period. And a penalty coming up here to Pekka. Canucks still have the puck. Linden now flips it in over the line for Courtnall. That's broken up. It came back to center ice. Courtnall after it again will just feed it in, and as Galley knocks it down, Mike Pekka will take a tripping penalty. Vancouver builds its lead up to 2.
What you're about to learn, Mitch.
Josef Veranek from Czechoslovakia with the puck. Dominik Hasek from Czechoslovakia with the pads, and Pernick flies through the air and into the net. He didn't have any idea that the Dominator was on his way out of the net on that play.
Joseph scored, the puck didn't. Platt trying to kick it free at center ice, tipped it ahead, hit the linesman. Suda gets turned around. McGillney took a bump but got it in over the line to Ronning, taken back by Shannon. Shannon deals it all the way around to the boards. Holzinger trying to come away, gets checked by McGillney. McGillney dances in over the line again. He flipped it back, but it went all the way to center ice. Run right back in by a coin, knocked down by Shannon. Shannon tried to tip it ahead. Holzinger got there, can't control it. Ronning picks it off. Shannon takes it away. Shannon flipping it up to Holzinger. It's squeezed out at center ice. Platt carries on. Here's Platt. Couldn't get in front. Barnaby took a hack at it. Knocked out of the air. And now the Canucks will bring it back again. Ronning feeding it to center ice. Maksuda in over the line. He gets squeezed into the corner. Goes after it again. Took a bump from Galley. Finally, Galley took him right off the puck and starts back for Buffalo. Across to Barnaby. Barnaby in over the blue line. Barnaby looking for the trailer to Bogner, and he fanned on it. And it's cleared out to center ice. Courtnall, a pass in over the blue line, leaving it to Linden. Linden in front. Hasek makes the save. Jam back in the corner. Barnaby went sailing in there and decked his check as he ran Jelena. Fired through center ice again. Bogner can't catch up with it. Courtnall playing it off the board. Sent back for Hedican. Now tipped up to Courtnall again. He can dangle. Gets in over the line. Took his shot. Hasek kicked it away. Rebound. Bounces in front. Hasek's got that as Jelena spills over top of him.
Martin Jelena. Rickley was telling me he's developed into their top left winger this year and certainly is a candidate for the Vancouver Canucks unsung hero. Jelena with 25 goals this year, and he gets nailed behind the net on this play by Matt Barnaby. Good solid check, and one of the things that we were talking about today was that both teams finish their checks. Well, we haven't seen much hitting here today, but that was a good one. And I think that lack of physical play has hurt Buffalo, and the absence of Brad May has been a factor in this game.
In front of the net! Hasek makes the save as Walker walked right in. Well, the Sabres are going to have to be used to playing without May for the next couple of games anyway.
Yes, sir. Brad May is going to be out of the lineup for a minimum of a week and probably closer to 2 weeks as he fractured a bone in his forearm as he took a shot from Zipnik in the New York game. Zipnik let the shot go from the point.
Steered in behind the net. Hannon gets all tangled up back there with Dowd. Taken away by Zipnik. He fires it through the middle. Ray steps away. Here's Ray with Lume chasing him. Ray backhand deflected by Lume behind the net. Ray trying to catch up with it. Into the blue line. Ray then got grabbed and hauled right off the play, and the puck ends up in the Vancouver bench. And Ray flings away its stick with disgust. There you go.
Now Donnie Lever with over 400 points for the Vancouver Canucks. And 5th overall in career scoring. Stan Schmiel, who is a leader with 673 points.
Schmiel is an assistant to Rick Lee on the other bench. Time certainly a factor working against Buffalo now here in the 3rd period. A little over 6 to go. Tipped around on the board. Stoyanov took a bump, but it's hooked out to center ice. Pearson knocks it down. Pearson bumped along the boards. Comes free, and O'Coin is there. Set up to Stoyanov at center. He'll tip one high. Finally, he's chopped around behind the net. Recovered by Huddy. Huddy tips it in the other direction. Zipnik has to circle the net. Pearson takes down his check. And they end up lying on top of it right along the boards.
5 minutes, 51 seconds to go. Rick Lee over 5 minutes away from a shutout here against Buffalo, and boy, what a great game his team has played again. They haven't been caught in any odd man rushes. They've been doing a great job of back checking. If there's no opportunity to forecheck, they don't do it. They just pull back. And they played a perfect road game up to this point and deserve to be leading.
Suda tips one in, taken away by Zhitnik. Zhitnik feeding it through the middle. Plant couldn't flag down the pass. That slithers down the ice. No icing. Back after it, Hedican. He slapped it around behind the net as Barnaby got a piece of him, and here comes Mogilny again. Mogilny into Buffalo territory. Took his shot. Hasek knocked it away. Huddy picks it up. Huddy swings it off the boards to Plant. Plant now feeding it up ahead. Sabres Zhitnik starting back. Zhitnik into Vancouver territory to Barnaby. Knocked down. Was entering again. Rebound. Work right on. And McLean snares it and hangs on to it.
Few times today the Sabres have had two opportunities on McLean, but moments ago was one of them. Barnaby lets the shot go right here and then picks up his rebound. Watch the left glove of the goaltender as McLean was moving to his right, and Barnaby shot the puck in that big trapper. But that's a save, though, a stick save by a goalie. Kirk McLean did not want to direct that puck right back into the front of the net, but sometimes you can't help yourself.
Babbage kicks at it, lost his stick. Pekka took a shot, knocked down. Pekka backhand. Pearson's shot is right on. Jammed into the corner. Kahn peppers Lume. Set out to center ice. Wilson drilling it right back in again. Lume can't catch up with it. Pekka back to the point. Shannon shot deep left. That's right on. Pearson gets knocked off stride. Came in front to Kahn. He hacked it in behind the net. Hit the referee. They jam on the boards. Hope back into the corner. Pearson goes bailing in there. Deflected by Stoyanov. He got it out to center ice. Wilson has to hustle after it. Wilson flipping it ahead. Back into Vancouver territory. 4.5 remaining here in the third period. And the Canucks will send this one down the ice, and it'll come back into Vancouver zone. The Canucks 2 in the third and 1 in the first. Cannon against Linden for the face-off. Why is it after you have a TV timeout they all of a sudden find debris on the ice?
That's right. There you go, another 30 seconds.
They're fine a little bit down there, though.
Now they probably splinters from the stick. And
there was a broken stick in that quarter a moment ago, right?
If you're skating around and you step on a little sliver the size of a toothpick, you're going to go down and possibly injure yourself.
Hughes bumping with O'Coin in the corner. Hannon went spilling over the top. It's kicked free, but Courtnall now wheeling it up ahead. That's taken away by Ray. Linden took it back. Ray kicks at it, can't come up with it. Finally, Jelena steers it in over the line. Galley for Hughes. Hughes sending it at center ice. Jelena takes it back and feeds it into the Buffalo corner with less than 4 minutes remaining in the third period. Galley swings it to Bugner. He lost it. It's kept in by Jelena again. Jelena gave it away to Galley. Up ahead for Hughes. Hughes coming to center. He'll tap one in. Ray trying to catch up with it. But it's taken away and banked off the boards to Linden. Linden coming away. Dumped in over the line again. Jelena chasing after it in the corner. He left it there and Bugner picks it off. Bugner rolling around behind the net. Feeds it all the way to center ice. Canucks will get it back again. Jelena feeding it in over the line. Recovered there by Dowd. Hasek tips it back into the corner. Here's Bugner. He got it through center ice. Babbage trapping it. Babbage jams it off the boards for Jim Dowd, who ripped it right back in again. Hasek sliding it around now to Pekka. Pekka stepped into Ojek. Galley flings it to the other side, but Walker will keep it in for the Canucks to Dowd. He's taking off the puck, and Bugner has been out there a long time. Sends it off the boards and down the ice. And Babbage back after it, no icing. And around the other side. For Vancouver to come away to Walker. Walker steps in over the Buffalo blue line. He stops. Just tips it in, trying to head to the bench. Ojek in the corner. Tracked down by Zhitnik. Grosek pries it free. Groshek coming up with the puck, feeds it up ahead for LaFontaine. They're going to call it on a two-line pass on the offside.
And Donald Adet, the Sabres could certainly use on the ice today, and not standing down by the exit, is going to recover or going to rehab very shortly for that injured knee.
The Vancouver team is leaving right after this game to go back home. The Sabres will leave tomorrow at noon to fly to Vancouver. The clubs meet on Wednesday. I can't think of another instance this year or in any season that the Sabres have been involved in when they've played a team from the other conference back to back, because they only play them twice in a season.
Well, that's very rare indeed.
Here's Mogilny getting it over the line again. Took a shot and fired it wide. Barnaby picks it off and starts back. Barnaby through center. Hits the Canuck line. Trying to force his way through. Taken away from him. Ronning works it up to Mogilny. Mogilny will just tap one in. 2 minutes remaining on the clock here in the third period. Shipnick wheels it ahead at center. Holzinger tipping it up now to Plant, and they're going to call that an offside.
And Buffalo just not sharp here today. They've had a not passing the puck well. They've gone offside on a number of instances, and there was another example. That time it was Plant who was in ahead of the play, and that tells you that you're not mentally sharp. I think that the coaching staff of Buffalo is worried about their club here today in this game. They went on that road trip to Ottawa and then played at Madison Square Garden, a very physical, tiring game against the Rangers, and then the airplane was late. And I doubt if anybody on this team got to bed before 4 o'clock in the morning.
Puck shoveled in by Pekka. Pekka tried to get it in front. Pearson spins around. Drops it off to Pekka. Tied up by Lume. It's banked off the glass and actually leaves the playing surface. So with about a minute and a half remaining here in this third period, the Vancouver Canucks would certainly be looking to heading to victory for their second time on this road trip.
I think Al Mogilny has been the best player on the ice here today, with a goal and an assist and numerous other scoring chances.
Shannon pokes it into Kahn. He sends it behind the net. Pekka trying to keep it in there. Does for Kahn. To Pekka. Pekka took his shot. Knocked away by McLean. Jammed around on the boards again. Kahn catches up with Lume, leaving it to Courtnall. It's knocked down by Shannon. Shannon starting back with a pass in over the line. Chipped into the corner by Mercer. Courtnall coming away again. Sends it as far as center ice. Brought in over the line. Here's Yellenov busting in front of the net. Playing by Wilson to break it up. Less than a minute remaining. Pearson starts to center. Pearson will flip one in. And Buffalo will change. Canucks coming back. Set up on the wing to Linden. Linden through center. He'll tip one in. That's left back there to Buchner. Half a minute remaining on the clock. Buchner's long pass at center missed everybody. Flipped in the other direction now. Vancouver's roaring. Lined up by Buchner. Mogilny in over the line. And Ray took him off the puck. Fed now to Hannon. Hannon starting back. Cross-ice pass to Hughes. Hughes chips it in. And in behind the goal. Flung around on the glass again. Ojik coming away. Ojik hits the Buffalo line and over. Trying to squeeze his way through. Delhi got in front of it. Ojik's got it again. Tipped it in front of the net. Running, looking for his shot right on. And Hasek covers up in the crease and hangs on. As time has expired in this hockey game, and the officials were very quick to move in there to make sure nothing happened.
Now, the last time the Buffalo Sabres lost by 3 goals was 13 games ago on February the 4th to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Canucks deliver a loss here 3-0 today to Dominic Hasek and the Buffalo Sabres.
So the Sabres will have to look to the second half of this home-and-home series in order to even the season series between the two teams. Plenty more coming up in a moment.
Give me Fox, yeah! Give me Fox.
Okay, who's got the best long-distance savings, my local phone company or Sprint Canada?